Hi, Spencer Brand, a trumpet player, and that was the 2021 Arizona Regional and All-State Etudes. The first one that you heard is really a great display of the sound that you can put through the horn. For some of you, it may be at an awkward tempo where it's in between your single and your double tongue. What I'm going to encourage you to perform is at a tempo where you feel most comfortable with either articulation. Whether you're single tongue, if you have a fast single tongue, that's great. If you have a great double tongue, as long as it's even, that's what really matters, especially in the opening. And with number one, the thing that you really want to show off is your ability to play very soft with a beautiful sound and incredibly loud like in the last measure with a beautiful sound. For number two, it's the same thing. It's showing off more of your lyrical ability on the instrument. This one is a little bit more difficult in the sense that we do need to place the notes in the right spot, also meaning that we need to be exactly in time throughout the whole etude. Something that I like to do to practice this one, just to become comfortable with the melody, because it starts in the mid, goes to the low range, and then goes up and near the top of the staff. I like to play the first note of every measure, especially in the first 8 measures of the etude. Then, this is very crucial. In measures 9, 10, 11, and 12, practice your rhythm. Now, this means you have a lot of notes that are on the ands of beats or that are separated by small rests. So here you want to make sure that each of those notes are placed perfectly. And especially because it sets up the last 4 measures, to be going back to very lyrical and beautiful. Number 3, it accomplishes a lot of the same things as the first etude. We want to hear your beautiful sound, especially forte energico. We want to hear that beautiful sound right from the get-go. And especially in this etude, we have a lot more of these acrobatic things, like in measures 3 and 4, the ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-dee. We want to make sure that it's always a beautiful sound. If we're not quite getting that top note or the bottom notes are not centered, it's going to be very obvious to the committee. Similarly, the start of the second and the third line with these arpeggios is a very risky section. Here, I definitely encourage you to practice slowly and to practice always with your best sound. With number 4, this is where we're really going to see how well you can handle these fast passages, and especially very awkward fingering. Nothing repeats. We want to hear how well you can handle a passage like this. So with the opening, I'm going to suggest that you practice these on single notes. Practice these rhythms, like da 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 da, just so that we can really establish the rhythm right from the start. Then with the second line, practice this very slowly. And I'm going to show you a couple practice things that I do, especially with a passage like this where you're alternating between A flats and A naturals in some measures. You have D flats and D naturals depending on the measure, or you have E natural, and in this case I'm playing E flat at the top because it makes the most musical sense. And so here, I like to mix up the rhythm. And this is so that when I go to play it, I can play it evenly and in time. So I might start by playing it slowly. For the first measure. Then I'm going to add dotted rhythms to make the fingers move overly fast. And now I'm going to flip that rhythm. So that hopefully, when I go to play it in time, then it's nice and clean. And I'm not just banging away at a slow tempo. I'm mixing up my practice, which is really what we need. Then after that, practicing again, single notes are on beats 1 and 3, repeated notes, da 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 da. That's going to be very important, especially in establishing your sound in that section and the overall accuracy of each of those arpeggios. For number 5, this one really shows off your musicality because there's a lot of very difficult leaps in this. We have a major 7th, or starting with a perfect octave, we have a major 7th from E down to F and back up. And then we go into an A major arpeggio down. And then not only that, but we have these odd chromaticisms, like in the second measure of the second line. We need to be able to lean into those to make it really musical and to really make sense to a listener. And we also want to make sure that we have very distinct contrasts in dynamics. Now, there's different interpretations that we could place on this, like in the second measure of the third line, where it's just a simple mezzo forte, and then the next measure is a mezzo piano. We could do ba-ba, mezzo forte, and then do the next statement, mezzo piano, or we could treat it as an overall diminuendo. These choices are very important, especially when it comes to your musicality and being able to communicate that to those of you that are listening to your audition. Thank you.